Over 2,000 years ago, the Romans pushed north and discovered a land that was ideal for grapevines. When you look closely at these rocky soils, it seems improbable that anything can grow here in abundance, even the hardy vine. This great wine region has shot to prominence in recent decades, and today has over 75,000 hectares under vine. It stretches 180 kilometers along the river that shares its name, depositing alluvial soils along its banks for millennia. Syrah, Viognier, Grenache, and many other varietals call this home. Through the centuries, wine has been the center of daily life and commerce. This is one of France's oldest growing regions and a destination for great value red wines. This is the Rhône Valley. This is the Rhone River. It stretches for 180 kilometers, and from Vienne to Avignon, it joins the northern Rhone and southern Rhône Valley. This region is a story in two parts, linked by one great river. For centuries, the Rhone River was an important inland trade route that allowed wine merchants to ship their cargoes to distant markets. But it's only been the last few decades since the popularity of these wines exploded. These days, Rhone grape varietals are cultivated in vineyards all over the world, and I think it's a testament to their popularity and mass appeal. Syrah in Australia, Grenache and mourvèdre in California, and Viognier in South Africa all pay tribute to the long-standing winemaking traditions of this valley. This region is all about diversity. Pick a wine style and you'll find it here. From full-bodied structured reds to lighter everyday drinking wines, and there's great value to be found. It's no wonder that wines from the Rhone are a favorite amongst wine enthusiasts. At this vintages event in Toronto, the world's greatest wines are on display, and it's not surprising that the Rhone labels are in demand. This region's influence is undeniable, and wine writers and the enthusiasts who follow them are taking notice.
Well, I think that the Rhone is probably one of the best values that you can get in the fine wine regions of France. First of all, it really hasn't been discovered, and these are great food wines too.
You've got this big swath of land that is really getting a lot of that Mediterranean heat, and that Grenache really develops that incredibly fruity, almost really kind of chewy character. It just bursts forth. I like the excitement of those wines.
The wines of the Côte de Rhône are made in a range of styles. They're food-friendly, they offer great value, but more than anything else, they really express a sense of place. And this place is spectacular. If you want to get to know these wines, it's best to start in the vineyard. The wine growers of the Rhone remain true to traditional approaches and styles, while embracing new winemaking technologies. They set themselves apart from other growing regions with wines that express terroir, the many factors that influence a grape's character. While winemaking is important, the purists insist that wine is made in the vineyard.
The people that want to respect the flavours of terroir argue that really you should have the courage to do nothing in the winemaking process. And that's very much what goes on here. They see themselves as guardians of the terroir rather than winemakers.
The Rhône Valley is red wine country. It's over 90% of what they produce, along with some whites, rosé, fortified, and even sparkling wines. Located in southeastern France, it's very close to the Mediterranean Sea. The growing regions stretch from Lyon in the north to Avignon in the south, through two distinct climatic zones. The subsoils are incredibly varied, with 5 major soil types. The southern Rhone is broad, with a warm Mediterranean climate. Sun-drenched, it's famous for round, full-bodied, easy-drinking wines. We're starting our journey in the northern Rhone. It's much smaller than the south, with a slightly cooler, semi-continental climate. The wines here are famous for their elegance and finesse. The vineyards of the northern Rhone cling to steep landscapes made of granite and quartz. That's one of the reasons that Syrah does so well in these vineyards. This is the land where Syrah was born, and home to appellations like Hermitage, Gros Hermitage, Cornas, and Saint-Joseph. The granite soils here produce tannic wines with structure that develop in complexity and finesse as they age. The only red grape permitted here is Syrah, which is sometimes blended with whites like Viognier, Marsanne, and Roussanne. These long-ripening varietals soak up the abundant sunshine, developing slowly in the cooler climate of the north. Producing wines from these slopes is expensive, back-breaking work, but vignerons here carry on as they have for centuries, growing distinctive fruit with spicy, deep-roasted character.
The ancients were as smart as we are, and they already understood and noticed that there were great terroirs and that the wines produced on the hill were much more better than coming from everywhere else around. You imagine that in Hermitage like that, to make a wine, you need at least 600 to 700 hours per hectare of work.
Well, I'd certainly understand why the wines from this area are so expensive.
You bet. Everything is handmade. You can use any machine here. So every year making Hermitage on this hill is kind of a challenge. When we produce 10 to 15 hectoliters per hectare, it's already a good harvest.
And harvest time here is not for the faint of heart. The Rhône Valley has some of the lowest yields in all of France. Winemakers know lower yields mean more concentration of flavors and higher quality wine. Poor soils, a southern exposure, steep slopes for good irrigation, and cool winds that whip through the valley are all essential ingredients to grow excellent Syrah.